Yo, what's going on? I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I always got to look over the chat to make sure my audio is working on point. Sometimes it get a little janky over here. I'm Marcus here. We do attorney reactions to current events and trending news. We're going to cover 4 topics. Your boy went on vacation. I came back, did one show. Then I got sick. Then I missed the next show. But I'm back. We're going to be back to the regular schedule. And as always, I appreciate everybody to support everybody who's checking out the channel, the content, who like, share, subscribe, comment, who dislike. Oh, yeah, it's all good. I appreciate the interaction. Let's not take too long because it's actually late as hell, later than I usually would start a show. But I wanted to get this done. So let's go ahead and get this first started with Sean Combs. Let's see what's going on with him. Let's get it.
Is Sean Diddy Combs about to get a presidential pardon? That's the stunning revelation today from the entertainment news website Deadline. According to Deadline, several associates of Combs have been pitching the White House, and President Trump is seriously considering a pardon. Trump.
All right, now this actually sounds crazy, but I talked about this actually maybe the first week of the trial, if not before the trial. One thing that we know, one thing for sure and two things for certain, President Trump is a transactional person. If there's a deal to be made or something to get done, he's going to listen. And let's just think about this. A rich guy in New York who's been having a good time since he was in his 20s, who liked women. If I gave you all of those subjects, you wouldn't know if he was talking about President Trump or Diddy. They both literally, I'm not saying President Trump has done the same thing. Maybe I'll do another video about the Epstein stuff later. That's completely different. But all I'm saying is President Trump is someone who understands the lifestyle for certain with 100% comparability that Diddy has led. Because in the 80s, Trump was the photo negative of Diddy, a white guy who was powerful, who was young, who had a lot of money, who had a lot of fame, who grabbed women by the you-know-what. So I'm actually not shocked that we're hearing this story. I actually think he is going to issue him a pardon. Now, had Diddy been convicted of the RICO aspect, I don't think Trump would be inclined to issue him a pardon. But considering that Diddy's team got a big victory in court, I'm actually not going to be shocked if and when this does actually happen.
And Diddy go way back, socializing together with Melania at celeb jammed parties. Now, Diddy faces up to 3 years in prison following his conviction 4 weeks ago on the lesser charge of transporting individuals for prostitution. That was considered a victory by his legal team. A Trump spokesperson says the White House will not comment on the existence or non-existence of any clemency request. Back in May, when asked about a potential pardon for Diddy, Trump had this to say.
I haven't seen him. I haven't spoken to him in years. He used to really like me a lot.
Hey, the fact that he said he used to really like me a lot is important. We all know. Hey, one thing about President Trump, he wants people to rock with him.
So, I don't know. I would certainly look at the facts. If I think somebody was mistreated, whether they like me or don't like me, it wouldn't have any impact.
I'll be honest. I'm going to actually be honest. How President Trump exercises and uses his pardon ability, I actually have no qualms with. I have no issues with. I think he's 100%. He's the president. He has the authority to issue a pardon. He can issue a pardon for whoever he wants. When he got out of office, there was all of this talk about potential criminal exposure for his son-in-law and the deals with the Saudis. And one thing he didn't do was issue a pardon to his family, which, hey, I got to give you a props for that. Because if you issue a pardon to your family for a long-ass period of time, that means something shady probably happened. So, hey, I'm not saying I'm a Trump fanboy here, but I have no issues with how he moves when it comes to pardons, because that's 100% his right to do. I don't think most people in his political circle would want him to do it, but I actually wouldn't be shocked. He won this case. He avoided the RICO charge. He got convicted of something that's I mean, it's 3-year sentence, but considering what he was looking at was light, I wouldn't be shocked. But his people definitely not going to want him to do it. But I think it's going to happen personally.
Megyn Kelly says, don't do it. Trump should not pardon Diddy, she posted today. He doesn't deserve it. He's a Trump hater. He's a woman abuser. GOP struggling with young female voters, most of whom will hate a Diddy pardon.
Y'all let me know in the comments. I actually think that I think it's going to happen. Shout out to everybody. Hey, shout out to Paul. Hey, thank you. I appreciate you for tuning in, sir. I know I've been gone for a minute. A vacation, came back, got sick, but now I'm back. I appreciate y'all's support. Lisa, what's going on? Stock market going crazy. My portfolio is going crazy. It's like 29%. It's actually crazy. But that's a whole nother story. Diddy got away with many crimes. If Trump pardons or commutes his sentence, then I will not forgive Trump. I agree. I think he did get away with a lot of crimes. I mean, I actually don't disagree with you. I'm actually shocked that he beat the RICO charge. I'm not going to dive too much into it, but I personally think the only reason he beat the RICO charge is because jurors weren't used to seeing a criminal organization also be a legitimate business. I think that kind of made it tough for them to see. Normally you see the cartel is the criminal organization. They're engaged in drug trafficking. Organization doing illegal shit. No legitimacy. Very rarely do you see an organization that has legitimate income, but then also has a criminal aspect of it. It does happen. A lot of times it happens in the hip hop community with record labels and, but I think that was the confusing thing. I don't know. Y'all let me know. I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen. Had he got convicted of RICO, I would say no, because I think those are too serious of charges. But transporting persons across state line for purposes of prostitution, I don't know. His only and best chance to get a pardon is going to be from President Trump, because nobody else not going to give a fuck about it. That's just my thought. We're going to see how it's going to play out. Now, since we're talking about celebrities, let's go ahead and pivot towards basketball. This is actually new. It's stupid on both parts, but let's talk about these federal charges that a former NBA player for my hometown team has just pled not guilty to. Let's go ahead and check it out.
And breaking news right now, former NBA star and SoCal native Gilbert Arenas has pleaded not guilty to charges involving operating an illegal gambling business.
ABC's Alex Stone joining us live here in studio with all the details on this developing story. Alex.
And guys.
All right, now real quick, operating an illegal gambling business. It's stupid on both sides, because really the normal crime for operating an illegal gambling business is you're getting gross income and there's no tax liability for it. That's the biggest thing. Yes, the illegal portion of it is, but the only actual harm that the government is losing is you go to the casino, you win $50,000, you get a tax form in the mail, you got to give that shit to your accountant, you're going to have to pay taxes on it. So the only real loss to the government is the lack of tax revenue that people are getting from the winnings in this high stake illegal gambling ring. But this is actually interesting. Let's take a look at the people on the list who were indicted with him. I'm actually shocked. I thought I was going to see a bunch of NBA players and names that I recognize, but that's not what I saw. Check it out.
He was just in court a few moments ago pleading not guilty. He's going to go free on $50,000 bond. Gilbert Arenas is, of course, known for his time in the NBA, playing for teams like the Warriors and the Wizards. Known here in L.A. as well for his son, who is a star recruit at USC, recently in a violent Cybertruck crash. Federal prosecutors say Arenas and other defendants, including a high-level member of an Israeli transnational crime group, were all arrested today. They're accused of running an illegal.
Okay, at some point, I think they're going to post the names of all the persons. That's actually a big deal. A transnational criminal organization is a really not a good thing. Actually, in some instances, according to a new executive order, some transnational organizations have been identified as terrorist organizations, which I agree with. I think cartels should be identified as terrorist organizations. That's just me. But typically, when you have transnational criminal organizations, and I'm not going to say I'm an expert in it, but I have a lot of experience with these types of matters. It's two people with money. The actual drug dealers who are making the millions, the people who are lieutenant level and up. But I'm not sure the dollar amount. I'll be interested to look at the indictment on this one. But a lot of times it's money laundering. Money laundering is one of the really big things. So I'm guessing if they had ties to a transnational criminal organization, it's normally guns, drugs, money laundering, high stakes poker event, depending on what the amount is. Probably it's smelling like the persons who are participating in a transnational criminal organization, likely money launderers, but I don't know for certain. That's just what is given. Let's finish checking out this story.
Gambling club of sorts out of his mansion in Encino. Federal prosecutors say they had high-stakes illegal poker games and collected a rake, a fee that the House charges for those who would play big money and pay into it. Young women were allegedly hired to serve drinks, provide massages, and companionship, the way that prosecutors put it. And the women were allegedly charged money as well.
Okay. All right. So, hey, Eddie, I don't like how they phrased that. They were like, young women were paid to serve drinks. Like, just say women were paid to serve drinks. Like, when people put young women in front of it, it's kind of giving Diddy-ish. I'm not really a fan of that because I don't think that's the case because they would have expressly said that. I mean, what he going to do? Have old-ass women come to serve them drinks? I don't know. But it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I actually might do a video and take a look at his indictment because I'm interested to see how much money and what are the ties of the persons involved.
Prosecutors say chefs, valets, armed security guards, they were hired. And guys, the charges include conspiracy to operate an illegal gambling business. If convicted, they could be looking at 5 years in federal prison.
You talk about high stakes, the young women hired. You've read through the court documents. What evidence do they have here to prove all that?
Yeah, a number of different things. And there was a photo that he allegedly sent to another member of this group that he texted the defendant. This photo showing Arenas Poker Club. They say that this is part of their case. The allegation that he was renting out this home to those who were running the operation.
That's hilarious. I'm sure there has to be better evidence than a table with his name on it and the word poker club. I actually might break down that indictment because I'm actually interested in what was going on. What's the transnational gang connection? Was he solely making proceeds from the renting of the facility so others can gamble? Was he involved in the gamble? It's kind of sketch it's kind of sketch and uncertain based on the language that they're using.
Who are running the operation.
Interesting. This goes beyond the Friday night poker night with your buddies.
That is very
the
true.
Allegations.
Yes, allegedly.
Okay.
Alex Stone, thank you.
You got it.
So that's going to be interesting. That actually may be worthy of its own independent video. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. I'm just going to be honest. Like, he rented out his place to have high-stake poker games. Like that shit happen all the time. It's unfortunately that it's Gilbert Arenas. Like, it's guys in the streets who doing street shit who have poker games at illegal spots for tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars. And shit happens all the time. Unfortunately, Gilbert Arenas, you happen to be Gilbert Arenas, so people are going to look at you with a little bit more scrutiny. The other thing I'm interested to know is these guys get on their podcast, Gil's Arena, one of my favorite podcasts. They get on their podcast and talk about a lot of shit. I'm interested to know if any commentary from his podcast related to gambling or any of his stories are going to be used as evidence of him actually renting out this facility and organizing, having this illegal gambling ring. That's actually going to be interesting. Arenas is... hey, right now, not saying like who you would rather be from if you. I think Diddy has the better legal situation right now than Gilbert Arenas because one, Diddy's is already resolved. He has way less exposure that he's looking at, only 3 years maximum exposure compared to Gilbert Arenas, 5 years. And fortunately for Diddy, I don't disagree with you, but fortunately for Diddy, hey, there are photos out there of Diddy with the mayor and Diddy with Trump. Like their paths have crossed before. So I think that's going to put him in a much more favorable position. Now, let's take a pivot real quick. We're going to get off of the entertainers we're going to pivot from Diddy and Gilbert Arenas and their legal mess to a story that I can never understand I can never understand how this happens. I think in all of these instances, there should be criminal charges. There's criminal culpability. Actually, I think legislators should carve out an express criminal statute for this particular thing that is 100% to me a crime, is not just civil. I'm not even going to spoil what it is. I'm going to go ahead and cue up the video, and it's going to piss me off. It already pissed me off. It's probably going to piss you off. I have no understanding of how this happened, but people who are responsible for these types of fatalities should be thrown under the jail.
This morning, we're learning more about a case involving a 3-year-old boy who died Tuesday after he was left in a hot car for hours.
Okay, now 3 is an age because like it's not like the kid is 7 or 9. 3 is an age where if you locked in a car, you may not have the ability to get out, the dexterity in your hands, the knowledge of how the vehicle works. Absolutely terrible. But listen to this story. This is probably one of the worst that I think I've heard of. I don't know how the fuck this happens by accident or somebody being forgetful. I just don't. Like, you should just be repeatedly punched in your face with steel gloves for having conduct that results in a fatality like this.
Tuesday after he was left in a hot car for hours. Now, this toddler was in the care of a contract employee with Alabama's Department of Human Resources, the state's Child Protective Services agency. CNN's Rafael Romo has more. Rafael?
Victor, the day the 3-year-old boy identified as Katorius Starks was allegedly left strapped inside the car was humid with temperatures ranging from 93 to 96 degrees during the 5 hours in the afternoon he was left alone. According to our own CNN meteorologists, those temperatures felt like 101 to 105 degrees with heat index value. Not only considering the car the boy was in direct sunlight, as the family's attorney claims. According to officials and the family,
this is absolutely fucking ridiculous, bro. This guy was a contractor who had a contract and worked with the state, and he did this. Like, everybody should get sued. The company he worked for that has a contract with the state sue all of their asses, and he should probably be in jail, in my personal opinion.
family's attorney, a worker employed with a company contracted by the Alabama Department of Human Resources, picked up the boy, who went by KJ, from daycare at 9 in the morning on Tuesday for a supervised visit with his father. The visit, they say, ended around 11:30 a.m. But instead of returning the boy to the daycare, the family's attorney says the contract worker made several personal errands with KJ buckled in a car seat in the back of her car. The attorney says the worker finally returned home by 12:30 p.m., parking her car and leaving the 3-year-old boy strapped inside the vehicle with all windows up and the car engine off. It was not until 5 hours later, Victor, around 5:30 in the afternoon, when the worker received a call from the daycare asking why the boy had not been returned, that she apparently realized
that's cat. I don't believe that shit at all. Is no fucking way. I do not believe that. As somebody who has children, I just don't know how the fuck you forget a 3-year-old in the car. I've went out to fast food restaurants as a young man, and as I was getting in the car, my hands full, and I set my fast food bag on top of the car to do some shit. And I've actually gotten in the car and pulled the fuck off with my food on the roof. But there's no way. I don't see. I don't know. I don't understand how could you forget a whole child in your fucking car. I just don't fucking believe that. I don't believe it. I think it's extremely gross negligence. It's fucking criminal. She should be in jail. Should never be allowed to work with children again completely. Civil liability for her as an individual, civil liability for the company who she's employed with, civil liability for the state for bringing this person on. All of those things should happen, in my opinion.
What had happened, this according to a timeline the attorney provided. He realized what had happened, this according to a timeline the attorney provided. 911 was called and KJ was pronounced dead at 6:03 p.m. This is how the boy's father told CNN affiliate WBTM he will remember his son.
Small, brilliant, bright little child. I'm talking about. When I say yeah, respectful. I'm talking about knew how to count, knew his colors. 3 years old. Knew all the animals. I'm talking about he was very intelligent.
Yes, he was, bro. He was real nice and all that.
Like he was just joyful.
I had an opportunity to speak with Courtney French, the family's attorney. He told me he spoke with the family about what they're going through right now, and they're understandably having a hard time coping with the loss of their child.
It's just hard to comprehend that you would leave a baby in a hot car.
I don't know how the fuck that happens. Every time I hear these stories, it's wild. And typically, when it's a parent, I think that the parent this is just me personally. I don't know. I guess maybe, I don't know. Y'all let me know if y'all ever left y'all kid in the car by mistake and was like, oh shit, the kid's in the car, I forgot, let me know. I've never done that. I don't know how it could be done. I just can't. I generally lean towards if a parent does that and that does happen, I don't even think it's a fucking accident. I lean towards, that shit might have been on purpose, bro. Like, was it an insurance policy on that kid? Like, what was going on? Like, I automatically look at it sketch.
And just have no recollection whatsoever that the baby's a 3-year-old child is trapped in your car. He died a brutal death.
CNN also obtained a statement from the Alabama Department of Human Resources. A child in DHR custody, the statement reads, was being transported by a contract provider when the incident occurred. Due to confidentiality, DHR cannot comment further regarding the identity of the child or the exact circumstances. According to Kids and Car Safety, an organization dedicated to raising awareness about the dangers of hot cars for children and pets, this is the first hot car death to occur in Alabama this year and the 16th nationwide.
16 times. I don't know how the fuck that happened 16 times. I just don't. It don't make any sense to me. Real quick, the only thing that's going to be the legal issue here is funny because I talked to somebody who does employment law about it to make sure I'm looking at this right. You're going to have liability for the individual. Clearly, they actually doing personal shit during work time, but you're going to have liability for the individual. There's going to be a lawsuit for the contractor who hired the individual. That's under the doctrine of an employee is responsible for the acts of the employee. Employer is responsible for the acts of the employee when the employee is acting within the scope of their job. I think that's actually easy. The one that's going to be interesting is naming the state as an actual defendant, because, and I see why under that same doctrine, an employer is responsible for the acts of their employee. However, a company can move from under that legal concept if they can prove to the court that a person was an independent contractor. I don't think they'll have enough to prove that, so I think it's proper to sue the individual, the contracting company, and the state. But typically what will happen is, let's say I hire a bodyguard because I'm Mr. Super Popular Celebrity, and I hire a bodyguard, and my bodyguard punch somebody in the face and break their damn jaw. Somebody gonna sue the bodyguard. They're gonna sue my ass as the employer for hiring this guy. And what I would do to try to get from underneath it is, hey, that guy isn't an employee. he's an independent contractor. As an independent contractor, he has autonomy in how he does his job. So in those situations, to see if the employer is responsible for the act of the employee, the court is going to look at, was the person an employee or an independent contractor? To determine if the person is an independent contractor versus employee, the court is going to look at how much control does the employer have over the conduct of the employee when they do their job. If I'm hiring somebody as my bodyguard and I'm like, yo, you're my bodyguard, just make sure I don't get fucked up. But I don't give them no blueprints. I don't tell them what to do in what situations. I kind of just, yo, do whatever you want. I just don't want to get fucked up. That's leaning towards independent contractor because I don't have a lot of control over how that person does their job. But if I hire a person to do security and I'm like, yo, I leave out at this time I want your guys positioned here, and all your guys got to be armed. If you have any security officers who aren't armed, they can't do security for me. The more I give them direction in how they do their job, the more likely are that they're going to be an employee and not an independent contractor. And once they're determined to be an employee, the employer can be liable for the acts of the employee during the course of the duty. So that's the legal issue by it. But sue everybody. I don't think the state will have enough to say that this person was solely an independent contractor. Throw everybody's name on there, and while you're at it, throw the person who actually should have been named on this article. They talked about the name of the decedent, rest in peace to that poor kid, but they didn't name the individual who's accused. Like, hey, this is public. His family got their shit out there. Your shit should be out there too. There's no reason that your shit should be not in the public spectrum, in my opinion. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I just don't think those crimes happen by accident. And anybody who says it's an accident, oh, my fault, I forgot he was in there, just go and throw them in jail and just lift up the corner of the jail and tuck their ass right up underneath there. Now, this next story, we're going to get into our cover story. Now, let's watch the video first, but then we're going to take a look at the actual article, and then we're going to look at what the manager of McDonald's was charged with. I don't really care about what the victim was charged with in this particular case. Let's go ahead, dive in. This one is going to be interesting.
At 4 updates in this case, charges in a shooting at a Metro East McDonald's on Wednesday night. Now a manager and an employee's mother are both charged in the incident. Belleville police say this all started when the manager on duty, Kathy Bledsoe, asked a juvenile employee to take out the trash. When the teen refused, she was told to go home. The teen then contacted her mom, Tanika McKenzie, who had a fight with Bledsoe, and Bledsoe pulled out a gun.
Okay, now real quick, okay? This is a few interesting things here. One, I couldn't find a photo of Miss McKenzie. I don't know if they're painting her as the victim, but she also has assault charges stemming from this as well. Kathy Bledsoe, the person in image who is on the screen, is the actual manager of the McDonald's. Now, firearm was pulled out. I don't know if it was right or wrong. Y'all let me know. Y'all probably know which way I'm leaning. But let's go ahead and actually read the article, because the article provides a little bit more detail so we can figure out what exactly was going on. Let's go ahead and cue this up. All right, let's go ahead and jump into this article so we can get some details. We're going to take a look at what the manager was charged with and talk about it. All right. 2 women are facing felony charges for shooting at an Illinois McDonald's earlier this month, during which one of them was struck in the leg. The St. Clair County State's Attorney Office charged Kathy Bledsoe, 44, with aggravated unlawful use of a weapon, and Tanika McKenzie, 35, with aggravated battery and mob action for their alleged involvement in the shooting, according to the Bellevue Police Department news release. Belleville, Illinois is a city of about 40,000 people located in the southern part of the state. On July 16, Bledsoe, a manager at the McDonald's location, asked a teenage female employee to take the trash to the dumpster. The employee refused to move the garbage and was told to clock out and go home by Bledsoe, the news release stated. Okay, first of all, shout out to the manager, Miss Bledsoe here, because I would just fire her ass. If, as a manager, you work at McDonald's, you don't think your job is taking out the fucking trash, you need to go. So she didn't even fire this girl. She just says, you know what? You might be dealing with something. I don't know. You just go home for the day, clock out. We'll figure it out without you. So I actually think that she was really nice in how she handled this, because, like, you work at McDonald's. If I say take out the fucking trash, you should be taking out the damn trash. I don't know. It's already given the teenager here, clearly, I'm just keeping it a buck, sounds like a pain in the ass. Like, I know I worked at Arby's and somebody be like, take out the trash when I was in the 10th grade. I'd be like, okay, let me go ahead and take this trash out and do what the hell I need to do. But so far, it's sounding crazy. All right. It says the employee contacted her mother, Mackenzie, who responded to the store with another young girl. After causing a verbal disturbance in the McDonald's, Mackenzie and the girl went behind the restaurant's front counter and to the office area. All right. So now here's where it's getting ridiculous. I don't know. Y'all let me know how this should be handled as parents. As a parent, this is just me. If my son, daughter refused to take out the trash and their manager said that and they came and told me about what happened, I'm literally going to look and be like, what the hell wrong with you? Why didn't you take out the trash? I actually might go back up there to be like, hey, apologize to the manager. Hey, when you get to work tomorrow, apologize to the manager and take the fucking trash out. That's probably what I would do. I'm just saying. But it's ridiculous. I don't know what the daughter told the mother, but the mother clearly went up there and decided to show her ass. And sometimes when you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. The fact that the mother went up there, the fact that an argument started, the fact that the mother actually went behind the counter, it leads me to believe I think I know where the daughter got her attitude. I think I know where the daughter got her attitude from, in my personal opinion. That's going to be an interesting question. I think I got the answer to that. I actually did some research on that. Let's go ahead and finish getting through this, and then we're going to address that portion of it. All right. It says, once in the office, Mackenzie allegedly battered Bledsoe in the face and head. During the altercation, Bledsoe produced a handgun and shot Mackenzie once in the leg, officials said. Bledsoe was taken into custody, and Mackenzie was transported for medical treatment. Bledsoe was released from the St. Clair County Jail on Monday, on July 21st. The jail confirmed to USA Today. It is unfortunate that this incident occurred. It seems individuals are quick to resort to violence to resolve disputes without consideration of the impact of their actions have on the community as a whole. This was an unnecessary incident, I agree, that could have been mitigated without punches being thrown or gun being used, the Bellevue Police Department wrote in a Facebook post. Bledsoe's preliminary hearing is scheduled for August 1st, according to court documents. Ms. Bledsoe acted purely in self-defense after sustaining physical injuries at the hands of her attackers. Noted, they said attackers, plural, even though in the story it just says that mom started whipping ass, but daughter was present. That's something we got to talk about because it's an issue. All right. She is now safe at home with her family, where she belongs, and denounces the violent acts that led to this incident. Patrick Sullivan, Bledsoe's attorney, told USA Today in a statement. Court officials said Mackenzie's charges have not been made public via the county's online court database. All right, so shit been going on in McDonald's. It was another homicide that occurred at a McDonald's. Now, about the charges. So Mackenzie, the mother, was charged with adult and mob behavior, were the two charges. I'm actually less concerned with her charges, and I want to talk about the manager, because I'm just going to be honest. If I'm on a jury, y'all already know how I go when it comes to the Second Amendment, your right to carry arms. But I'm just saying, I'm not necessarily, I need more facts, but I'm not necessarily opposed to the use of a firearm here. I need more facts to absolutely say that, but I could see where the attorney would go. I actually think the prosecutor is not opposed to the conduct that resulted in the use of a firearm because of the charges. The charges weren't assault with a deadly weapon. The charges weren't anything like that. The McDonald's manager was charged with aggravated unlawful use of a weapon in Illinois. Okay, this is a serious felony offense involving the illegal carrying or possession of a firearm under specific circumstances. The fact that she was charged with this leads me to believe that the prosecutor was like, I don't think no. I mean, if somebody told me, hey, we're going to charge her for assault with a deadly weapon, I'd be like, that's not an assault. She was there minding her business. This lady, ratchet-ass daughter, came and went and told her mother. Then her mother came back, acted mad, hood, and ignorant, got in an argument. The manager was behind the counter in her office, minding her own business, trying to avoid it. Once you breach the plane of going behind the counter, shit is about to go left. It's a mother there, it's a daughter there. They probably acting loud and belligerent. The daughter already showed her ass like, yo, I'm not taking out this fucking trash. The fact that the mother came up there fussing because her daughter refused to do her job shows me that the mom probably ain't got no damn sense either. Hey, I'm just keeping it a buck. I actually think it's reasonable to believe that after mom started attacking her, it could have led and resulted to a 2-on-1 situation. I think that it's reasonable that she was in fear of severe bodily harm. Miles was punching her in the face. A lot of times people have this argument, well, you have to use equal force. But Miles was punching her in the face. Maybe she couldn't whip Mom's ass. Maybe the manager was like, you know what? I can't whip this woman's ass. That's why she punched me in the face. She got to get off me because she's going to cause me severe bodily harm. But the fact that she was only charged with aggravated unlawful use of a weapon, I think the prosecutors are giving some deference here and think that her use of the firearm is probably leaning towards the justified realm, in my opinion. So let's talk about what she was charged with. Aggravated unlawful use of a weapon. Definition and conditions. A person commits aggravated unlawful use of a weapon when they knowingly, 1, carry a firearm, including pistols, revolvers, stun guns, or tasers, on their person or in their vehicle, except when on their own land, in their home, or in a fixed place of business. So did she carry a firearm? Yes. 2, the second thing that has to happen is possession of the firearm in a public area like street or alley without permission, and 1 or more aggravating factors are present. So this actually goes to your question, Paul, of can she carry a firearm in McDonald's? Generally, it's no. I couldn't find their actual policy, but most places, Uber, DoorDash, Lyft, they don't want their employees carrying firearms, even if they're legally authorized to carry the firearm. It's just an internal policy. Now, what could happen because she violated this policy? Well, if she violates that policy, McDonald's don't want her to carry a firearm. She could lose her job, but she won't get any criminal sanction from it. So the first 2 elements of what she was charged with, was she carrying the firearm? Yes, from the facts. Did she possess the firearm? Yes. Now, 1 or more of these aggravating factors have to be present. The firearm is uncased, loaded, and immediately accessible at the time of the offense, and the person does not have a valid firearms identification card. It says aggravated unlawful use of a weapon is classified as a level 4 felony. It's punishable by imprisonment of 1 to 3 years, a $25,000 fine. Now, with that being said, I think the charges that she got were actually appropriate. I don't know what the third prong was. Did she carry a firearm? Did she possess it? I don't know. Was it? I'm assuming that the third prong that they satisfied was that she was not licensed to have a concealed weapon. I'm thinking that's probably what it was. I'm going to let you all know, if it were me as a prosecutor, this is kind of my view. if I'm a prosecutor and I have the unilateral control of what gun charges we pursue and we don't, if a person is in lawful possession, if a person lawfully owns the firearm, I'm not going to say lawful possession. So if a person lawfully owns the firearm, that means I went out, I got a background check, I purchased the firearm is mine to have. But they don't have a concealed carry permit, but they're carrying it on their person anyway. All right. So it's lawfully their firearm. They had the background. They did everything they needed to do to actually purchase it, but they're carrying the firearm illegally because they don't have a concealed carry permit. If a use of force situation occurs where they actually have to use that firearm, my general rule is if the shooting is justified and the firearm is lawfully theirs, I'm going to get a little bit of deference on the fact that they didn't have a concealed carry permit. Like, real talk, if that's the age-old scenario where I can't have a firearm on a subway in New York, but I'm a 62-year-old man and I work as a janitor, and as a janitor, I get dropped off when I get off in Hell's Kitchen, one of the worst neighborhoods in the city. So I take my firearm that I lawfully own, but I can't carry it on the subway in New York because you can't have firearms with public transportation. While I'm on the train, 3 high school football players who big as shit approached me as an old 62-year-old man. They punched me in the face. I pull my gun out. I shoot one of them. The other 2 scatter. Now I'm looking. If I had those facts as a prosecutor, did he lawfully own the firearm? Yes. Was the shooting legit? Probably yes. Did he have the firearm in a place where he wasn't supposed to have it? Or did he have the right to carry that firearm there? No. If he owned it legitimately and the shooting is legit, I'm going to defer on, okay, he had it somewhere he didn't. But had he not had it, he might have got his ass whipped and not be here to tell his fucking story. That's kind of how I look at it. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I think the charges that everybody were charged with, mom being charged with adult and mob behavior, assault and mob behavior, 100% accurate. I think the manager charges were accurate, but if it were me as a prosecutor, I would give some deference. I don't think that's going to be the case here, and I would give that deference because I think the shooting was actually a legit shooting. I think she was in reasonable fear of severe bodily harm. Hence the reason they didn't charge her with assault with a deadly weapon or something crazy like that. Is the prosecutors going to give her deference, or are they? Absolutely not. It's Illinois. It's the southern part of Illinois. They have a lot of gun violence in Illinois. I think normally prosecutors try to make a hard stance on gun violence. But I think the shooting was justified completely. Even the prosecutor thinks so because of the way these charges go. You all let me know what y'all think about this one in the comments. Do y'all think that the manager should be charged with anything? Would you give her some deference and not charge her with anything? She was trying to hide in her office and avoid everything when 2 hoodlums came from around the corner, mother and daughter, and moms proceeded to beat that lady up. I don't know. This is a case where the prosecution wouldn't want me on the jury. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. And as always, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I apologize. I was gone for so long between the vacation and then between getting under the weather. But I'm back. Going to be more consistent. Probably won't do a live stream Friday, but we'll tap in on Saturday. I'll do a live stream. And we're going to talk about an attorney who was charged with helping gang members destroy evidence. And we got an audio call to listen to in that case. It's get crazy. The craziest part is like a white woman attorney who is helping some YSL gang members. It's absolutely crazy. This is like the second story where a white woman decided, hey, I don't want to be an attorney no more. I want to support the gang life. So we're going to dive into that Friday. As always, I appreciate y'all time. Y'all take care. Be blessed. And I'm grateful for y'all support. Peace.